commemorate the feast day of the Holy Cross, which was on the 14th of September. And we hear in a gospel passage, and it should be reminiscent of something, it's the same portion, if you will, that we hear on Holy Thursday. And it talks about the cross in a very specific way, but it talks more about the life of Jesus Christ, where it says specifically, until I see you again. You see, the cross was something that is very important. And many of us wear them around our necks. We have some that are very decorative and others that were placed around our necks at the time of baptism and other circumstances in our lives. And it seems that we look at one another in comparison about the size of the cross that someone else is carrying. You see, time and time again, we as people, just as general people, complain so much. If we walk outside, the first thing that someone's going to say is, it's hot here. Well, we're inside of an air conditioning building, so the heat outside just lasts for a few minutes. If it's raining outside, we're going to complain it's raining outside when it's actually helping out on so many things. When it's windy, when it's all these other things, we just find everything in the world to complain about. And we carry these crosses on our backs. And we say to one another, look how weighty my cross is. Look at all these other things that I have in front of me. There's a very sweet story about this monastic who was complaining to his abbot. And he was saying a very specific thing, and he said, everybody else has these other light jobs. Why have you given me all these difficult things that I have to do? And so this young monk, as he was complaining, the abbot said, God will get you through it. And it seemed that the monk just kind of complained about everything else. He fell asleep. And in his dream, he saw the monk, he saw his abbot, and then he saw an image of Christ. And the abbot said to him, go through this door. And the story has been recounted in so many ways. And this young monk went inside this door, and inside of there he saw all these crosses that were lined up against the walls inside of there. And Christ was standing there as a figure. And while he was inside, the abbot said to him, your cross, pick out whatever one that you want. Pick out any one there, and that's the one you'll carry for the rest of your life. So the monk thought about it for a second, and he walked over and he found the smallest one that he could find. He picked the smallest one up and he said, this is the one that I want. So he walked out, Jesus Christ looked at him and said, that's the one you walked in with. For ourselves, we look at one another and we say, look how easy they have it. We have no idea what's going on behind their doors and their homes. We have no idea what's going on in their minds, in their hearts, and in their souls, and it's really none of our business. What's more important is to how we are taking care of ourselves and what are we doing with these crosses that we are carrying to make a difference and to lighten the load for one another. When I moved to Colorado, and especially coming here to Texas in the South, I've noticed that people on a constant basis, especially first thing in the morning, they say good morning. Coming from the Northeast, that was not something I was accustomed to. And it's something that's a very strong reality because you have no idea how just two simple phrases can get you through a nice way of the day. Just to say good morning, offering a nice word, offering something that is very important. And for ourselves, we seem to be so overly critical of one another, myself and each and every one of us. And it seems that we need to leave these part of our lives outside and not to worry about them anymore, but to change what is taking place within ourselves, and to lighten the load of that cross that we're carrying on our backs. As we anticipate the celebration of St. John the Theologian, the patron saint of this church, the patron saint of the great island of Patmos, and all of these other things, it's an obligation for us to emulate and to follow a person who never complained when he was placed there in exile, and made the best of everything. And in fact, to the point of everything in which he did, living to a ripe age, and doing these things that God called him to do. So just as St. John, the patron saint of this church, did all of these things for us, set that example for us to follow, we do the same things as well. May our Lord continue to bless you through the intercessions of St. John, and let us continue with the Divine Liturgy.